and zoning. Most importantly, in 2012, February, through the assistance of El Monte Police Department, yet again, an outside search warrant was served. Illegal slot machines, illegal firearms, and cash were inside the building, and Mr. Shubin was booked and arrested for gambling and possession.
Excuse me.
You're out of order, sir. I'll just be quiet.
Was charged with gambling and possession of illegal firearms by El Monte Police. So this is something that has a long history of, I'm going to categorize as nuisances. We support
Why
long...
the El Monte Police? Is this the same location?
Yes, sir.
Why are they involved in
I'll let Commander Lopez speak to that El Monte investigation that's ongoing.
Okay.
Mayor Foster, members of council, that is part of an ongoing gaming investigation being conducted by El Monte Police Department.
In Long Beach? Or
Yes, sir. It apparently spread to multiple jurisdictions.
Okay. All right. You finished, Eric?
I just want to stress that we support businesses, but we also support businesses that comply. And that's an important relationship that must be maintained in order to be a successful business in Long Beach. So I understand the pleas from the employees and so forth, but this is an ongoing history that has created a lot of issues in the city of Long Beach.
I think the one brief comment needs to be made. One person came to the dais and said that, I believe it was Mr. Beeson, said that the El Monte case had been dismissed. It was no longer a pending case. That is not true. It's an ongoing investigation that continues.
Mr. Shubin, you can come up and, Mr. Shubin, who's the appellant, can come up and you can have a rebuttal to those comments. Please come to the podium. You have the floor.
Well, the guns that El Monte Police Department took, they say they're illegal. They're not illegal. I bought them. I don't have it. To me, a legal gun would be something somebody stole, or I bought from somebody that stole it. But I do not do that. My guns I bought at Turner's in Signal Hill, and somewhere I have a receipt for them. So I don't know where they say they're illegal.
Anything else?
What?
Anything else?
No, I just wanted to make that clear on that one.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Sun, what's the nature of the illegal firearms?
I would have to defer to Long Beach Police Department, more specifically El Monte, with that ongoing
They weren't
investigation.
automatic weapons or anything, were they? What exactly was illegal?
I don't have the El Monte Police report, so I couldn't comment,
So
sir.
I'm asking you.
Mayor Foster, members of council, I also have not seen the El Monte report, so I can't clarify for you what kind of weapons were seized.
All right, then I'm sorry, but I think that part of this, you know, if you don't, I can't, no one can substantiate it. So let's just assume that didn't happen here for a moment. Anything else, Mr. Shubin? All right, thank you. Did you have something about the El Monte case, real quickly?
Sure. Yeah, the El Monte.
Illuminate us.
I'm very familiar with it. There's been no charges filed on that from last February. He was cited out by El Monte, but no charges were filed. I attended that. I hired to represent him on it. Of course, we had to give him the money back. There's no illegal guns, no illegal gambling devices were taken. There was a broken machine, not a gambling device, and the money they took. There's no question about that, and hopefully they'll get that back. But
Okay, but there still may be an ongoing investigation, but no, Mr. Shannon, were any charges filed, did you know?
It's my understanding, not to the present time.
All right, and just, you know,
But I would note, although it's unfortunate we don't have the El Monte Police Department report in front of us, the hearing officer apparently did have the El Monte Police Department report in front of us because he references the report number. So it is apparent to me that he would have considered the El Monte Police Department report, again, although we don't have it in front of us.
okay. Mr. Shubin, can I ask you a question, please? Can you come up? If I just heard correctly, you had illegal gambling machines in 2002, 2009, and 2010. Is that correct, Mr. Sun?
It's probably correct, but there was a...
Let me just ask you, what were you thinking? I mean, you got machines removed in 2002. You got them removed 10 more machines in 2009, and then 10 more machines in 2010. put yourself in the position of this council. Everyone here has sympathy for the employees and for you, but that's
Well,
what.
I guess I'm addicted to gambling,
I don't
and
care what
I
you're
like the
addicted to.
money.
You're now here making a plea on your business. You probably should have thought about your business when you did this, but, so that's accurate. You've had 3 incidents of gambling machines. 4, whatever. Yeah. Okay, I just want to make that clear. I mean,
It was a mistake. I didn't know,
Yeah,
I didn't think I was doing that bad. I didn't think it was that bad.
Mr. Cuban, I'm not going to argue whether or not it's bad or good. It's against the law. And whether it's a light degree or a heavy degree, I'm not going to worry about that. But you clearly knew in 2002 it was against the law. You knew in 2009 it was against the law. And again, you did a year later.
Well, I'm not gonna do it anymore, that's for sure.
Well, one would hope
I got it this time. I'm not gonna do it again.
That's repeated blows to the 2x4 to the head, but, okay, I got that, all right, that's all, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Garcia.
I have nothing else to add. I think staff has been thorough, and the police have also been pretty thorough in their report. Thank you.
All right, any other comments by council members? Mr. Andrews.
My question is to Mr. Sun. Mr. Sun, what could they possibly do to rectify any of this, that this individual has gone through here? Because it seems like he doesn't get it. But is there anything that they could do to save his business? Because of the individual employees he has working for him, he's not, helping himself. He's just helping, his employees. So what would it take for him to understand it? I mean, do we sell the business or do we keep the business? Do you understand what you're supposed to do? I just don't know right now. Because you seem like you're a decent person, but you don't seem to get the point that those things are illegal what you're doing. But you have some, good employees who would love to continue to work, and I have sympathy for you also. But where does it stop at this point? I'm asking, Mr. Sun,
It stopped. It stopped.
Okay, but Mr. Sun, is there a point where,
Well, let me put a fine point on
Yes.
this, because I think what Councilmember Andrews is asking is there any other method that, short of closing them down, that would keep them on a short tether, that could keep the business alive? I think that's what he's asking. I'm not saying that I'm agreeing with that. I'm just saying, I think there's a lot of sympathy here for what's taking place, but I have to tell you, there's also a lot of belief that, how many times you have to violate the law before you get the point. You have your hand up. I'll let you briefly come up real quickly. You're the new manager, correct? Not you. You're done.
Yes, my name is Jackie Carino. I stepped in as general manager, and this is where it stopped.
Please, at the mic.
This is where it stopped. I have been hired to step in to just literally take this over. And during this couple of months that I've already stepped in, we are already working on the infrastructure in the management. Paul has given me the in and outs, but he is stepping aside at this point. I have been working with Dorothy as well, who is ill at this point. I'm also working with the code enforcements to bring everything up to standards, so everything is coincide, and we're working to bring it up to standards immediately. We are working very hard right now. That's where I'm coming in. I'm Janet Trevino, the new general manager there.
Thank you, Mr. Appreciate that. Mr. DeLong.
Ma'am, before you, over here. Sorry about that. And what's your background? Why do we think that you would be successful taking this over?
I have 16 years with a real estate background, so I'm very familiar with building the safety, code enforcement, dealing with city issues, so that I'm very good at that. I also have about 25 years with the management skills in all areas, so I'm highly qualified to rectify. I'm also great at cleaning up messes. I'm just great at it.
Well, you've got
That's why I've
counsel,
been
but
hired.
nevertheless. And what's your relationship with the owners? How did you come to be brought in?
I met him through building and safety and through another mutual friend several months ago.
So somebody said this is a real mess, and he introduced you and said maybe this is somebody who could come in and clean it up?
It's partly because of my background. Real estate, I've already dealt with management issues. I'm just a person who knows how to come in, take charge, and to correct the issues, and that's why he hired me.
And who have you dealt with? So you've been there 2 months?
I've been there 2 months.
2 months, and who have you dealt with the city staff in your 60 days?
The city staff,
Mr. Sund, or what?
As far as here,
Yeah.
no, we're just, right now, we are just cleaning up the code enforcement things. We're doing, changing some of the infrastructure on the management, because that has to be changed immediately, because you have to start from the inside out with these issues. And part of the inside issues at this point is code enforcement. So not just management, cleaning up whatever needs to be cleaned up, and also the repairs, and then we work with the engineer, the architect, who has been redoing the plans. We're going to apply for the permit for the trucking so that we really can make this a legitimate ongoing business. We hope it to grow.
And have you dealt with anybody in the city on the code enforcement issues, any inspectors?
Not at this point. We are working on everything. Also, this was coming up really quick with this council meeting. So from here on out, I have stopped on the 4th floor. I have already spoken to Stephen Valdez on the trucking parking, and there'll be ongoing information from him as well.
Thank you.
Okay, any other comment? I thank you all. I know this is a difficult issue. I think give a lot of consideration to all sides. We have a motion and a second on the floor. This is to, I guess, deny the appeal. Is that correct, Mr. Garcia?
The motion for staff recommendation.
The staff recommendation. Mr. DeLong.
So I guess back to Councilmember Andrews' question of staff. I mean, is there an opportunity to give them to work out of this with a new management?
The staff would recommend, due to the pattern of non-compliance that's existed over the last 10 years, there are a lot of issues that need to be addressed, both from a compliance permitting standpoint as well as a building permitting standpoint. With the revocation, that would give them 1 year to basically get all of those items addressed and compliant, and after that year, they could then reapply for a business license. Staff feels after the 10 years of issues that have gone unaddressed after citations and after notices, etc., have not been taken seriously. And it's important. The applicant is Dorothy Shubin, who we've had numerous discussions with at a hearing. Prior, at the last hearing that we did, the appeal hearing, she had fired her son from the management position and had recommended a new manager, who's not the same individual we have here tonight. He has also left, and so this is the first time we're hearing of yet another manager at this location. So from a history standpoint, I think they really need to focus on the business and take a year to breathe and get into compliance, and then re-engage the city after that year period.
Yeah, of course, the problem with the year to breathe is the odds of them coming back are somewhere between slim and none, right? Let's be honest. So I guess what I'm wondering is there any reasonable amount of time, like, I don't know, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, where they could make enormous progress to the city's satisfaction, or no, not really, when there's nothing they can accomplish over a 30 or 90 day period of time, and then it's just letting a problem linger and procrastinate, all right?
If you're asking for staff's opinion based on the progress or the lack of progress they've made to date.
No, what I'm asking is, I think we're all in agreement with the last 10 years has been abysmal. I don't think there's any confusion about that. It's whether or not there's new management that could turn things around in 60 to 90 days, or are the problems just so huge that you look at it and say, look, they're not going to make any meaningful process in 90 days. You know, why continue this problem?
I don't think that the problems could be resolved in 90 days.
Thank you.
Okay, any other comments? All right, we have a motion on the floor to accept staff recommendations. Members on that motion, cast your votes.
Motion carries 8 votes yes, 1 vote no.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate everybody's time. It's a tough issue. I'm sorry. We're going to go to hearing item number 3. Clerk will read.
Item 3 is a recommendation to receive supporting documentation into the record to conclude the hearing and adopt a resolution confirming the 4th Street Parking and Business Improvement Area annual report and continuing the assessment for a period of 1 year.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I wanted to thank Kasten, who's here, for her leadership of the 4th Street Business Improvement District. 4th Street's really evolved. I think many of you, if not all of you, have noticed over the last several years. It's been at least 5 years, and this bid process is one reason why it has evolved the way it has and become the gem that it certainly has in our city and beyond. There's a sense of direction and organization from the Business Improvement District, and I really appreciate your partnership on community issues. And I look forward to another great year of events and community projects, and just want to wish you congratulations. With that, I'd like to make the motion.
Second. Moved and seconded. Any member of the public wish to address council on hearing item number 3? Seeing none, members cast your votes on hearing item number 3.
Motion carried.
Motion carries 9 votes yes.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Hearing item number 4, clerk will read.
Recommendation to receive supporting documentation and the record, conclude the hearing, and adopt a resolution continuing the East Anaheim Street Parking and Business Improvement Area Program and assessment for a period of 1 year.
Mr. O'Donnell.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I too want to, like Susan, congratulate the PV DeLong Anaheim and PCH. They're doing a wonderful job. They've got safety cameras coming up very soon. They've done a lot of work with the police department. I want to thank the police department for working with them. So they're working to make Anaheim Street a better place than it even is today. So I ask for your support.
Is that a motion?
That's a motion.
I need a second. Moved and seconded. Any member? Please, I'm going to call you right now. Hang on. Any member of the public wish to address council on hearing item number 4? Please come forward and identify yourself.
Kathy Ryan, Mayor and City Council. I've contended for the past 2 years that the inclusion of 5199 East Pacific Coast Highway in the East Anaheim Street Association is unwarranted. My contention is, and still is, that no occupants at 5199 East Pacific Coast Highway received the notice of the prospective bid. I was unable to substantiate the claim then, but now I think I have the secret. I sent for a records request from the City of Long Beach regarding the mailing, and then subsequently went to the 2 post offices, one in Anaheim and one on Redondo. As far as I can tell, there were 6 sheets, double-sided, that were included in the mailing. The problem is the mailing list, which all this time I thought was just a list of the businesses, was the actual mailing list. The problem is there was no suite numbers on the mailing list. So the whole mailing list of the 590 businesses, over 200 of them do not, what I'm concerned of, 200 of them do not have any suite number. And that 200 is only of businesses that if you group them in a party of 3. So anything with 3 businesses that had the same address, I counted, and I came up with 200 of them. When I went to the post office, I learned that if things are not mailed first class and there is no suite number on the envelope, then it's trashed. And that kind of confirms my fact that nobody in our building received a notice. There is a second option, however, and that is in bulk mailing. There is an ancillary service endorsement used by mailers to request and addressee's new address to provide the USPS with instructions on how to handle undeliverable as address plate pieces. The endorsements consist of 1 keyword, electronic, address, return, or forwarding, followed by 2 words, service requested. The endorsements are the same for all classes of mail, but the treatment and the cost for each mail that is piece of mail that's returned is different. Use of an auxiliary service endorsement on the mail piece obligates the mailer to pay for any applicable charges for forwarding, returns, separate address, notification changes. I understand the charge to be added to the city's mailing would have been around 65 cents per piece, and that's for 200 pieces. I contend that the city lost control of this important mailing when it contracted the mailing to Hair Mail, and none of the above was done. The total cost for the postage was $275, which was about 46 cents per piece. Nowhere in the records request was there a different cost related to the readdressing and the mailing of the return pieces with no suite number. Okay, in a summary, that we did not receive the mailing at 5199 East Pacific Coast Highway. And for 2 years, I've tried to dispute that and been unsuccessful. I think that it is up to the city to come up with an envelope that they say they mailed. I did request a complete mailing, which I didn't get. But in section 12 of the bid resolution, it does state that the mailing should be done 7 days